There we go. I see our participants have started joining our session. We have started it a bit earlier today just to allow all of our participants on. We are expecting quite a bit of members to join us today. So while we wait for everyone to join, the participants that are logging in currently, if you guys wouldn't mind using your chat function at the bottom of your screen to let us know who you are, where you're from, and if it's your first, second, third, or have you attended all of our webinars. We'd just like to find out geographically where all of our members are from. I'm hoping that everybody would be more relaxed after this webinar. Just the chat function at the bottom of your screen, let us know who you are and where you're from. Hi, Ray from Brisbane, Australia. Yari from Indonesia. I apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Let's see. We have Heidi from Namibia as well. We have Tegan from Joburg. We have Natasha from PE. We have Kamisa from Botswana. We have Irvina from Mauritius. Shweta from Durban. Sumari. Lola, welcome guys. We have Caitlin from Pretoria. We have Tracy from Gauteng. Neri from South Africa, and it's her first webinar. Congratulations and welcome. Amanda from Mafikeng, Megan from Bloemfontein. We have Bernadette from Melbourne. I'm so happy. You guys really have an international audience here. We have Alma from Joburg, but living in Korea. We have, wow, members are going so fast that I literally cannot say welcome to everyone, but I am very happy to see everyone online today. I would like to welcome everyone to our newly launched Golden Key Academy, a place of online learning developed by Golden Key specifically for our members. It's been created in response to feedback from our members telling us that they want more career support and expert guidance. We listened and we created a website filled with videos, articles, and ebooks. If you haven't had a chance to go and check it out, please do. One of the best things we're offering as part of the Golden Key Academy is a packed schedule of live webinars like this one. We're doing our best to select topics and speakers that are relevant to you. So please feel free to mail us feedback at any time to learn about anything specific by emailing thoughtleaders@goldenkey.org. Today, we'll be focusing on how to overcome and manage stress with these amazing speakers online with me. Today, we have Marnie Both, CEO at Evolve Life, a certified life coach that studied theology at the University of the Free State. Hi, Marnie.
It is so wonderful to be part of this.
That's amazing. We have Neo Moselani, certified life coach, CEO at the New Motivation Academy, a youth pastor at Holy Harvest Church, an entrepreneur. He's a Golden Key International Honor Society member, an award-winning leader and author. Welcome, Neo. Then online as well, we have Dr. Bill Price, a certified master life coach and CEO at VIP Coaching International Institute, a mentor and NLP specialist. Welcome, Dr. Bill.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm very glad that I'm certified.
We are as well. I can see Marnie is relieved. Marnie, I'm going to hand over to you to take the lead today to guide us and start with our session. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and I hope you enjoy the webinar.
Thank you so very much, and welcome to all you guys from all across the world, and especially also for the guys in South Africa. It is starting to become spring here, and you can feel it in the air, and it is so lovely just to see that new life beginning to bud. And it is wonderful to know that we can actually do something about our emotional states also in challenging times that we are going into now. So yeah, it is wonderful also working with you guys and taking hands there. And especially also to Neo, thank you for the previous session. That was so wonderful to help us to define stress and what causes stress and a lot of things there. And I'll just recap a little bit with that. And also with Dr. Bill, wonderful mentor and friend, and a highly influential person worldwide on the also the road to neuroscience. So it's wonderful to take hands with you guys and partner with you. What we're going to talk about today is something that you would need, because just to know these things is wonderful, but you need to actually do something about it. Some solutions on how to overcome stress, because many people talk about it and then you feel it. You say, oh, it is true. And then you walk out the door and you're still filled with stress. So today is going to be a little bit of a practical session. So you would have some practical tools in your toolboxes after this session that you can utilize in any point in time when you start to feel that anxiety, when you're going into a depression perhaps and feel negative. Now, please, on that point, we're not saying here that these things will get you out of depression. Oh my word, there's a lot of things, and we have so much grace for people living and fighting depression. So please, this will help you in that specific way, just to be a little bit more positive and think a new way. So that will help there. So there's a lot of wonderful practical things that you're going to enjoy today. So sit back and relax and just be part of this. Take it in and make this part of your toolbox that you're going to use in the near future with this newfound knowledge. Now, what did we talk about? The previous session, I just quickly summed it up for you guys. You would see Neo had the privilege of also talking about the effects that it has on your body. And you would also get this recording afterwards. So there's primary responses that your body has, and there's secondary responses with undealt stress in your body. Now, please, if you tell me that I don't have stress, everybody has a bit of stress sometimes in their lives, and it is not bad. It is the continuous stress over a period of time, sometimes for years, and that can actually be detrimental to your health. So yeah, a few things there, and I'm not going to jump into much. The previous session we dealt with that also. Is that your skin, some of your sweat glands, primary things that's there, start up to cool down the underlying and overheating of muscles. Your skin, your heart starts to beat a little bit more. So please just go and read through that. You'll get the presentation also there. Muscles that's starting to tense. You would feel the stress literally in your body, because the body and mind, interesting enough, is related with each other. And we're going to jump in a little bit later with that, because the stress technically comes from your perception of the reality that you create. But where does it figurate and where does it flow out? It is in your body, your lungs, your heart, your blood, your liver, even your muscles, your digestion system, liver. Everything is connected in stress. And you are more than welcome to go and read a little bit more about that also. For example, just your muscles. You guys would feel this. Ongoing tension leads to aches and pains, even muscle strain. And then there's a few things also with your cholesterol. You won't believe me, but stress over a prolonged period of time can also influence your cholesterol levels. Some warning signs that you can have a look at there. Some physical warning signs that can tell you if you are living with stress and experiencing that is your muscle tension, sleep disturbance, as we already said there. And I'm just recapping what we already spoke about. Some behavioral things, your appetite changes, impatience. With family members, they just leave me alone, just leave me alone. You feel that type of things there. Avoidance of situations or places, some low energy. Then there's some emotional things that you can experience, some anxiety or sadness, moodiness or grumpiness, loss of sense of humor. If someone tells a joke, it's like, I know, I understand it, but it's not funny anymore. You don't laugh from the bottom of your heart. And then some thought patterns and perceptions there, the inability to make decisions or reduced coordination. So please just have a look at that. It's just a recap of what we already said to see if you have symptoms of stress in your life. But before we continue, there's something that I want you guys to do for me now, before we continue with this. I want you, for the remainder of this, to think about 3 things. Are you ready? Okay. The first thing I want you to think about is a time in your life that you were really, really happy. Just recall that time. Think about a time in your life when you were really, really happy. Okay, that's the first thing I want you to remember and just recall. The second thing I want you to think about is a time in your life when you did something really well. I mean, it was a thing that you did and you had to congratulate yourself because that was a thing that you really did well. Okay, that's the second thing. First thing, a place when you were really happy, a moment that you were really happy. A second one, something that you did really well. Okay, can you think about that? Amazing. And the third thing I want you to think about is a decision that you made that turned out great. Okay, think about that. Place where you were happy, something that you really did well, and a decision that you made that turned out great. Okay, just keep that in the back of your minds. We will be coming back to that to help you to anchor yourself, and we're going to do that in the last minutes of this session, in a state of congruence, to be relaxed, because we need that to handle stress. So yes, are you ready? Let's jump in. You must really remember that some practical things in stress management is to be in a place where you become resilient. And resilience is the ability to bounce back. It's like a rubber ball. And you would find a lot of practical things today. Some people are made of a crystal. You know, it's like a crystal ball. The harder life throws them, the quicker they shatter, and they hurt all the people around them while they're complaining about their situation and how bad life is and everything that goes with that. Now, I know that there's people that says that there is some things in life that is bad, but there's a quote that I am reminded of that said you can either complain that the roses has thorns, or you can be glad that the thorn bush has roses. It's the same thing. How do you choose to look at it? Because I know that life is full of cactus. I know it, but you don't need to sit on them every single day. I know you have to realize that there are some thorns in life, like in that thorn bush, but there are some roses as well. So some people are made of rubber. The harder life throws them, the more tools they have in their toolbox, emotionally and also in their minds, through a way of mindset, through a way of thinking, that the harder life throws them, the quicker they bounce back. And we're going to talk a little bit about that specific a way of being resilient in life, to help you to manage your stress and to help you to have some things practical that you can do to relieve stress in your life. I would need to share this with you guys. Way of thinking. Charlie Chaplin. I don't know who of you guys know Charlie Chaplin. He was a wonderful comedian a few years back. I think before I was born. That's about 80 years back. I'm just joking. Well, Charlie Chaplin told his audience a wonderful joke once, and all the people there started laughing. Chaplin then repeated the same joke, and this time only a few people laughed. He then repeated the same joke the third time, but this time no one laughed. And this is when he said these wonderful words. When you cannot laugh on the same joke again and again, then why do you cry again and again on the same worry? And that is something that we need to understand. Worry and stress is related. And technically, the way that we think, it just amplifies that stress. Because somewhere in your brain, there is 3 things that you need to know. Very simplistic. And Dr. Bill Price is going to talk a little bit more about the functioning of the brain, how it is, in the next session. But just to understand it quickly, let's say that in your brain is a tribe. And that tribe is made up of 3 tribe members. First, you have a parrot, and then you have a wolf, and you have a chief in the tribe. Now, the parrot is that part of your brain that keeps on talking and giving you feedback and telling you about things that happened and some worries about the future. So there's not emotion actually, but it is just that voice that keeps on telling you what's happening. Then there's a wolf part in your brain. And that Dr. Bill Price would actually help you to understand a little bit better also. The wolf listens to the parrot, that self-talk about how you interpret also your circumstances and what's happening around you. And then it starts to get agitated. It starts to get frustrated. It starts to go into fight, flight, or freeze mode. And then that emotion comes up. And that's where stress gets triggered. That's where you need the chief to also help you to understand a few things, to be the person and that part of your brain to be the logical part. So we'll jump right into that as well. To do that, I'm going to give you something that you need to understand as well. We need to get perspective on our circumstances. Otherwise, if you're just going to have a little bit of things to your knowledge that you have within your circumstances, you'll stress even more. To help you to understand a little bit about your perspective, I'm going to ask you something. In comparison with my hand, how big is my cell phone? It's the same size as your hand. Okay, wonderful. In comparison with your computer screen, where you are now, or where you are watching, how big is my cell phone? It's a little bit smaller. Okay, in comparison with the room or the area that you are now, how big is the cell phone? No, it's smaller. In comparison with your town or city where you live, in comparison with the province or the state that you are, in your country, the world, how big is the cell phone? No, it is small. Now, the thing is, the cell phone size did not change. The smaller your world, way of thinking, mindset, the bigger your issue. That is what it is about. So the smaller your world, the bigger your issue. So we need to get to ourselves to a point in place where we start to broaden our worldview, to broaden our mindsets, to think better and out of the box with things. Because sometimes our situations is not going to change. It's going to stay the same size. So what's the alternative? We need to broaden our worldview. Corona actually had a few interesting things that caused stress in us. And people are talking about corona-emotional stress responses. Now, what is corona-emotional? It is from paranoid right through to strangely optimistic within an hour. It happens to some people. Some people panic. Some people have that stress responses, especially with things that's happening in your life. Well, if you have a look at the prince there at the bottom, what is his corona-emotional stress response? No. Before you judge, let's have a look at the next slide. Oh, it depends on what way and from which way you are perceiving things and looking at it. On the one hand, the photo was taken of the same circumstance with the prince there from a certain angle. And it shows a bit of an interesting angle, I must admit. But if you see that same circumstances and that same situation from a different perspective, you see a different story. If you have a look at your screen also there, with that triangle, with that square and that circle there. This is through this is true, and this is true. So sometimes when you start to feel that stress, just relax and start to remember that this is how you feel at this particular point in time. But never confuse life with what you are feeling at a particular point in time. This too shall pass. So yes, it is reality how you perceive it now, but there's more to the story and more to what is happening than you just at this particular point in time imagine and realize. There's a wonderful saying in an age-old book in the Bible that says, be careful what you think, because your thoughts run your whole life. And then also from Lao Tzu, he said something. He said, what's your thoughts? And that implies your perspective on life, the way that you perceive reality. Because we do not see the world as it is, we see the world as we are, or sometimes as we are conditioned to see it. And that is a quote that comes from the book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People of Stephen R. Covey. So what you are perceiving about your reality is coming from how you see things. And we will touch a little bit on that in the sessions to come. But that quote says, what's your thoughts? They become your words. What's your words? They become your actions. What's your actions? They become your habits. What's your habits? They become your character. And what's your character? Because it becomes your destiny. And where does it all start? The same place where stress starts and where things just start to move into your body from your mind. That is systemic processes with your body, your thoughts. Now what happens? You have the foundation. What we think flows over to what we say, flows over to what we do, and even how we are perceived by other people and ourselves when we look at ourselves in the mirror. So be very careful with your thoughts. Choose to have good thoughts. I'm going to talk a little bit about some simple steps to help cope with stress and stressful feelings. First and foremost, and this is some practical things that you can do. The first thing is the moment that you become aware of your emotions. Sit back, relax, let your shoulders hang, and start to breathe. What? Yes. Remember, it is in your body. And a natural way of your body to relax is to start to breathe deeply. Now, what you can do is you can sit straight up on a chair. You can place your feet literally just before you. And just to start to breathe deeply. You can put your hand on your stomach also. Feel it rises and just go back. So what I want you guys to do now is just to sit back in a comfortable position and take in a deep breath. Okay, take it in, hold, and breathe out slowly. Do it again, just breathe in through the nose, hold that, and breathe out slowly. That actually helps you just to be in a place where you can see that you're starting to feel relaxed with that. And it is so important to do that. So take a few deep breaths. Make sure that the breaths are deeply into your stomach. Sometimes this step can only help you to reduce your stress as well. A second thing that you can do is notice how you are feeling without judgment. Some people say, I'm so stressed now, I shouldn't be stressed, or I'm so agitated now, I shouldn't be. Do not judge how you are feeling. Only notice that. Notice what you are feeling. It could be you can feel overwhelmed with some things. You can sometimes feel guilty or pressured or stressed, anxious. Everything that's there. Just ask yourself out aloud and say it. I am feeling anxious. Or I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling stressed. Just say it without judgment. And say it until you say, okay, fine, it's okay. It's not that it is something that's wrong with you. It's okay. Just notice how you are feeling. And then another thing, the third thing that you do is that when you notice how you are feeling, just affirm yourself. And I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. Affirm yourself out aloud. And also on that point of just noticing your feelings, you guys, have you noticed that no red light in the history of humanity has ever stopped a car at a robot or at a traffic light? Have you noticed that? No red light has ever stopped a car. Yeah. I don't know where you live, but where we live, no, the robots and the traffic lights don't jump in front of a car and say, hey, you must stop now. It just doesn't happen. The red light only signals you, and then you have to obey the law. And if you don't do that, you're going to meet some people, some by accident. So technically, it is just a signal to you that you have to obey the law. Your body's way of actually just seeing that and feeling the emotion. You don't need to act on the emotion. It is only your body's red light telling you that your will, for example, was blocked or that something is not right here. So don't brush it off and say, oh, I shouldn't be. Don't judge it. It is a normal reaction of your body because body and mind are systemic processes. It's a normal process of your body when you feel that emotions to sensitize you that something is wrong. Now you can then affirm that emotion and say, okay, fine, now I know I feel that, and you can do something with that. How can you affirm yourself? Well, some things that you can tell yourself out loud while you're feeling that. When you become aware of that feeling, stop that, what you are saying and thinking at that particular point in time, and say it out loud. Now, the reason you say it out loud is that you would also hear what you are saying, not just the thoughts. So there's a lot of more emotions and a lot of more senses involved when you say it out loud. Your vocal cords are working together. Your lips are moving. So it is kinesthetic that is also feeling there. You're hearing this. You're thinking it. So what you can do, some affirmations that you can say to yourself, for example, is, I am doing my best. Relax. A second one that you can say is, I can handle this feeling and manage my day. That will just also help you and calm you down. The third thing that you can say is, this feeling of, you just place in the feeling that you have, overwhelming or overwhelmment or anxiety or guilt. This feeling will soon pass. It's okay. Another thing that you can say is, I am safe and I am loved. I can handle whatever I am feeling. Say it out loud to yourself. And the fifth one that you can say is also, I love myself and I will take care of this feeling later today. So that is some things that you can say out loud. And what I want you guys to do now is, I'm going to teach you a technique that can help you to anchor yourself in an emotional state that would be beneficial for you and be in a good state of mind when you start to feel that emotions of stress. And that is called anchoring yourself. Now, what I want you guys to do now, and I'm going to share this with you, and I want you to also do this with me. So I want you to think of a place where you can pressure yourself, like literally with that. Like just press there on your thumb or on your ear or because I want you to have a kinesthetic anchor also. Now, anchors is very strong emotional anchors. For example, when you hear a certain song in the background, you think, oh, I remember that song. I was with that loved one of mine and that song played in the restaurant. I can still smell that pizza, or I can still smell that food. That's some anchors. It literally puts you in that state of mind. So what I want you guys to think and to do is to think about a place. It shouldn't be something that you do every day, like, oh, I do this every time. That won't work. It must be a place where you can actually just press, that you don't do that too often. For example, your thumbnail, or there on your hand, or your earlobe, or wherever. And what I want you guys to do now is I'm going to read something to you and guide you through a process. And I want you to vividly feel that emotion of being happy. Remember what we did in the beginning? Of congratulating yourself on something that you did well, and also a choice that you made that turned out great. I will facilitate you through that process. And every time that you feel that emotion on its peak, for example, you were happy, you feel that emotion, then I want you, the moment you feel that, just to press and release. Every time you feel that emotion. So I'm not going to tell you to press and release. I'm going to sit now, and when you feel that, you just press and release the moment that you feel that overwhelming joy or that overwhelming sense of wonder and things there. So are you guys ready? Okay, what I want you guys to do now is to sit back and relax and breathe in deeply through your nose. Hold it. Wonderful. And breathe out. Okay, breathe in through your nose. Wonderful. Hold it. And release. You are more than welcome to close your eyes. I'm going to read something. You can listen to that or just watch the screen. Whatever you feel comfortable and relaxed and safe, that will be it. Just breathe in once more. Hold it and release. Okay, with your eyes closed and relaxed, think of a time when you were really happy. Perhaps a time when you laughed from the bottom of your heart and felt infused with joy. I want you to associate back into that memory now and feel all those feelings again. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt when you were totally happy. Let your face show your delight, and let every cell in your body experience that happiness now. Notice where in your body you feel it. Notice the type of feelings. Now I want you to think of a time when you did something really well and you were very pleased with the result. Associate back into that memory now and feel all those feelings again. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you feel when you are proud of something you've done. Congratulate yourself again and feel really good about it again. Let your face show your satisfaction. Let your whole body enjoy the feelings again in the present moment. Notice where in your body you feel it. Notice the types of feelings. Now, I want you to think of a time when you made a good decision and you made the right choice. It turned out great. And you knew you did the right thing. Associate fully into that memory now and feel what it feels like again. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel all those good feelings again in your present moment. As before, notice where in your body you feel it. Notice the types of feelings. That is your emotional state of congruence. I want you to learn to identify it clearly so that you would know in the future if you are congruent about something or not. And if you are not, to place yourself in that state of mind when you experience stress and just breathe and think upon this, what you just experienced. Well, you are more than welcome to come back to the seminar and the webinar. I see some of you guys just fell asleep there at the other side of the computer. You are so relaxed now. It is wonderful. That is what I want you to do when you start to feel that stress emotions. Stop yourself and start to breathe. Notice how you are feeling without judgment. Affirm yourself out aloud and anchor yourself in that wonderful place where you feel happy and where you did something right. Go to that place in your mind and feel that emotions. And then last but not least, reflect on what you actually just went through. And just learn from that experience. So it's interesting. Ask him, when would be a good time to take care of yourself while you are feeling this, or having these feelings? Maybe you want to explore some of it while you are actually experiencing that stress. What made that feelings come up? And then you can ask yourself some questions, like, for example, what's important about this feeling of stress today? Or what is important about this feeling of guilt today? For example, what is important about this feeling of anxiety or the feeling of overwhelmness or anything today? And then the second question you can ask yourself while you are reflecting and learning is, what do I need to learn from this today? So guys, that is just a few simple steps to help you cope with stress and stressful feelings. There's so much more wonderful tools that we will be sharing with you and that you can have there. But these are a few quick ones that you can utilize at that moment that you start to feel stress in your body and to think new upon these things. So that was a few solutions on how to overcome stress and anxiety and depression. And I hope that you really found this very, very helpful. So at the moment that you feel that, just relax and breathe and know that everything will turn out great if you start to do something about that. You guys, it has been wonderful spending time with you. And I hope that you found this useful and that you really found this helpful so that you can do something about this in the near future when you start to do that. Yes, back to you guys, and you are more than welcome to ask a few questions as well. Thanks, Gillian.
Thank you very much, Moni. I think it definitely helps to have those steps behind you to know what to do as soon as you experience that stressful situation or just that overwhelming feeling of stress. So I am going to wait to hear if Naya or Dr. Bill would like to add anything to that.
It'll help if I unmute. I went into stress for a short moment there. Thank you for the breathing. The critical thing about dealing with stress is absolute awareness. Most of us as people we are unaware, we are unconscious. I was at a married seminar. My wife and I every year try and do something in terms of our relationship, and we attended the seminar, and you had to introduce yourself as a couple. So we're all standing in this queue up front introducing. The woman had to share, why we got married and how we met, and the men had to share how long we've been married, and they always, every man turned to his wife and said, I just want to double check. So you could see that the men were like way out of it and unaware, but there was a couple standing to our left. And as the man took the microphone, the woman took the microphone out of his hand and said, hello, my name is Marita. We're married for 30 years. Our daughter this coming weekend is going to get married. And after the wedding, I'm going to divorce my husband. And she hands the microphone back to her husband. And he like looks at her, and it's a moment of, oh my goodness. And so the only thing that could come out of his mouth was, this is news. And it was interesting for us. They sorted out the issues on the weekend happily, and they're still very happily married. But it was like living unaware. And we live in a world of our own. We live unaware of our body, unaware of our context, but we are very aware of our reality that we create. So the brain creates a whole lot of realities, and it makes up stories. And then we believe those stories. And it's exactly as Marnie said, a red traffic light never stops anybody or any vehicle. It is the driver who has to make a decision whether he or she is going to obey the rules and be safe and put their foot on the brake. And we've got to be aware of the signals. The red light is a signal. The orange light in South Africa is a signal you must go faster. Green means go, red means stop, orange means, oh my goodness, put your foot down onto the gas and really go fast now, because you might not make it. But being aware is one of the critical elements of handling our life. Being aware of our reality, being aware of our body, because our body is an amazing mechanism that has been given to us to communicate to the world through vibrations. And we will, before you feel an emotion, you'll feel an energy vibe somewhere in your body. And that'll give you the signal as to where the energy is and what's the message behind that energy. So we'll talk more about that next week. But that's just what I wanted to add, is it's becoming aware, becoming alert, and becoming conscious. That's 50% of the battle won.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. I'm definitely a more cautious person, so I'm that one that slows down at the orange light. But Naya, I see you also have something that you would like to add.
Oh yes, I just want to say thank you so much to Marnie for such a wonderful presentation. It was very informative and helping, actually, and I want to also thank Dr. Bill for adding. So I want to focus on what Marnie said about, perspective is so important, and why it is also so important to be aware of what is happening around you, what is happening on your body, right? So when you are not aware of what's going on around you, you will not be able to respond accordingly. You will not be able to have sort of techniques that will help you to respond in a very, very good way that will be beneficial for you. So for example, each and every one of us, every single day, we are exposed to external factors that influences our internal factors. So when you entertain or when you focus on the negative things, what's going to happen is you're going to have a negative perspective. And a negative perspective will shape a negative lifestyle in your life. So you have to be careful. What is it that you are entertaining in your life? What is it that you are aware of? When you entertain negative stuff, when you take them in and you feed them to your mind, your perspective in life will be negative. And therefore, your lifestyle will be negative. And when your lifestyle is negative, we know that your outcome in life will be negative. So it's very important. Be aware. Be careful. Ensure that you entertain things that are beneficial for you. Ensure that you entertain things that are positive. It is very important that you check. What is it that you are feeding your mind? Feed your mind the right stuff. And I promise you that you'll see the fruits in your life. But when you feed your mind the negative stuff, Oh my word, I don't want to lie to you. When you feed it negative energy, when you entertain negative environment and negative stuff, all you're going to see, all you're going to have in your life is negative stuff. But the moment you say, you know what, I cannot control what I'm exposed to, but I can control what I can entertain. Therefore, entertain positive stuff. Feed your mind positive stuff. And then your outcome will be negative. So with the perspective, I'm telling you, perspective is important. It's very important. And Moni said, relax. Say a few things that will help you. Say stuff like, I can handle this. I can manage this. It's very important because when you have a short-sighted perspective, the moment you are faced with a situation, you'll say, it's over. And once you say it's over, once your perspective says it's over, your behavior is going to say it's over and your outcome is going to say it's over. But the moment you relax and say, you know what, I can do this, I can handle this, your mind takes that information and says, behavior, habits, this person can handle this. And the outcome is you definitely can handle this. So that's it from my side.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
If I may, there's a question that I see has been posed by Patricia in terms of, do we accept a bad situation for what it is and then try and improve upon it? And can that help us to deflate our anxiety levels? If I could just try and add a little value here, I don't think we need to accept it. I just think that we need to acknowledge it. Accepting something is different to acknowledging it. Acknowledging it means I'm aware and it means I'm conscious. So I acknowledge it and I need to get to a place where I almost welcome it. And it's different to accepting. I bring it close and I'm going. And one of the other things that Neo prompted my thinking is that when you're faced in a bad situation, you need to take a deep breath. And another thing you can say to yourself is, this is interesting. So the moment you try and say stuff that is what we in neuropsychology call toxic positivity. So let me tell you what toxic positivity sounds like. Here's some of the statements that when you hear yourself saying these statements, then it's toxic positivity. You just have to be positive all the time. That's a toxic positive statement. Because you should rather replace it. You know what? It's not always easy to be positive in a situation like this. Now that's a reality statement. Another toxic positivity statement is stop being so negative. Another toxic positive statement is just change your thinking. Another toxic positive statement is never give up. Another toxic positivity statement is just look for the good in every situation. Find the silver lining in the bloody cloud. And then I'm sure it doesn't seem as bad as it seems. I mean, there you are lying on the ground, broken bones, and don't worry, the ambulance is on, and it's not as bad as it seems. The fact that your appendix is hanging out, it looks cute. I'm sure it's not as bad as it seems. There are worse things out there in the world than what you're facing now. That's a toxic positivity statement. And it's going to be okay. Oh my word. When someone says that to me, I want to take a broomstick and I'm not aggressive. I want to push it through their ears, climb on their back and ride them like a Harley Davidson down the main road. So stay away from generalizations. You don't accept a negative thing through generalizations. You have got to honor it. You've got to be aware of it and then say, this is interesting. Because when you give the brain that question, this is interesting, it now goes into a discovery mode to help you with focus and energy. And that'll help with anxiety levels. And then breathe, and if that doesn't help, drink.
Water, I hope. Thank you so much, Dr. Bill. I definitely think these are helpful exercises and helpful insights for our members to take with them, and to take each moment as it comes and then address it with the necessary steps, as Moni put out as well. I'm very happy that we had a great joining rate for members on this webinar. We did have some members asking about the PowerPoint. I'm sure Moni will be able to share it with us, so we can just share it with the participants on this webinar. We'll also share a link. I see a lot of members had some connectivity issues, so we'll make sure to sort you guys out and get that ready. Thank you very much, Moni, Dr. Bill, Nao. It's always great having you guys online, and I can't wait for our next session. The mailer will be sent out to our members today, so just keep an eye on your emails. Then you'll be able to RSVP for the third session. If you have any questions, please post it in the Q&A before you log off. We'll compile a list for Nao, Dr. Bilamani to run through in their fourth session with us next week, Thursday. So please don't keep your questions for yourself posted. We'll make sure they have the list of all of the questions. You can log on Thursday and they can help us work through all of the questions that our members still have. I want to thank you guys for your time and your energy and your focus and your laughter. Thank you very much. And thank you to all our members for joining us. Like I mentioned in the beginning, if you haven't had a look at the Golden Key Academy, please go and do that. We'll have all of the links for these webinars, including others, on there. So thank you very much. And our session is over for today. You're welcome to leave the session by clicking leave on the right-hand side, bottom of your screen. And we will see you next week. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe.